Women are very important in horror films. Where else will the evil force find victims? There are many, many ways for women to screw up the circumstances in a time of horror crisis, which will be explored here.
Remember, women, it's all about fashion. You cannot be a good heroine/victim unless you have a closet full of inappropriate items. Bonus points if you change frequently into something less practical.
All your nightwear must be see-through and so white that planes confuse it for landing lights. It must be long and trailing, perfect for catching on branches, nails, and car antennas, being shut indoors and wrapping around your throat to strangle you.
Where else can you find utterly stupid footwear? High heels, the higher the better, are the thing for you at all times. You can't run in them, you trip easily, the heels catch in grates, the slightest breeze will blow you over, and you make more noise in them than a herd of rabid shoppers the day after Thanksgiving. At all times, it is necessary to advertise your presence to the entire continent. Remember this.
Pants? You don't wear pants. Pants are unladylike. Pants give you freedom of movement. Pants can be made of denim, which doesn't snag or tear easily. No pants.
Tops? As tight as possible. You are not to be able to move easily. Plus, you have to be able to spill out of the low-cut neck of your top.
Skirts and dresses should be long and flowing and wide enough to make a bleach manufacturer blush in shame. Key words here are snag, trip, tear, and catch. And they have to show your underwear easily.
Underwear? White too, of course. You must give the impression of virginity, no matter what you were doing before the movie started, or what you decide to do halfway through. Bras are optional, but must be at least 50% lace.
Cars are useful props for women of horror. Not only can they always be counted on to break down in the worst places at the worst times, they're also useful places to have sex in just the right area so that something terrible can happen to both of you. Again, you know nothing about cars.
If a breakdown should occur when your boyfriend or husband is in the car, even though he knows everything about cars, he won't be able to fix it. This means that he will leave you alone in the car while he tries to find help. You will never offer to go with him.
Remember this. There's strength in numbers, but far more dramatic potential in being alone in a car in a deserted area around 3 a.m. with no way of calling for help and a radio that picks up only static or doesn't work at all.
It's also important to remember not to lock any of the doors. Cars are means of escape, a means of refuge, and in a pinch, a means of self-protection in a horror film. You will never succeed in using one for any of these purposes.
Now we come to your house. It must always be spotless, even if you're never home and don't hire anyone to clean for you. Decorations such as expensive glassware, vases, and dishes are necessary. Anything that makes noise when knocked over is highly useful.
White should be the dominant shade of your surroundings. You already have a white wardrobe. The interior design of your house needs to reflect this. You always leave on too many lights, thus being the most visible house in the neighborhood.
If you live in an apartment, yours will be the most prominent in the building. Your lights can be cut off easily, though, plunging you into darkness, unable to find your way around because, as a good victim should, you never buy batteries for your flashlight, if you even own one.
It goes without saying that you can't do anything more challenging than changing a light bulb. So if the lights go out, you won't know what to do. Someone else will have to check the fuse box. Then you can feel guilty when he doesn't come back.
That is, if you have time to feel guilty. Whatever put out the lights will come for you later. Keep in mind, lights never go out for a non-sinister reason, such as a blackout. It's always because someone is out to get you.
If you should venture into a darkened room, forgetting the fact that you're supposed to have all the lights blazing even in the middle of the day, this will provide the perfect opportunity for the antagonist to pounce.
You never lock the doors. If you do, there will always be one you leave unlocked. Ditto windows. You can't close, let alone lock a door, that is being used by an evil entity to get to you. Instead, just lean against it and scream.
Please note, doors are something you have in common with the man in your life. You and he, even if you live apart, will always occupy a residence with the flimsiest doors ever made.
Windows are also easy to break or otherwise force open, even on the off chance that you do remember to lock them. Locks are of the flimsiest make imaginable. If you do have strong locks on the doors and windows, not only will you forget to lock at least one of them, but you stand an excellent chance of locking yourself inside with whatever is coming for you. You will be unable to open a door or a window in time.
Your phone will always go out. You know no more about phones than you know about cars, tools, or how to manage your money. If your phone goes out, you won't be able to have anyone fix it. It will happen late at night. You won't be able to find the contact information for the repair service. And if you have a cell phone, you've forgotten to charge it, so both phones will be out.
Your internet connection will depend on your phone line, of course, so you'll be completely cut off. Chances are your car will die, be sabotaged at the same time. This will always happen if you live in a remote area.
Now, about relationships. Your boyfriend or husband will be a marginally attractive stud who always condescends you.
On the other hand, he'll be the one to trigger whatever weird noise you've been hearing, so you won't have him on your hands after that.
The geek down the street will have a crush on you, but you won't take him seriously, even if he saves your life. Especially if he saves your life.
If you're involved with a man who actually takes you seriously, he will also be removed from the scene fairly quickly. Unless you go first.
If you're having a rough time in your relationship, neither of you will be bright enough to call it quits. You'll almost certainly try to take a vacation to work things out. This provides the antagonist with the perfect opportunity to eliminate both of you.
Your approach to a vacation is fairly simple. For that matter, you are fairly simple. You're perfectly happy taking off with your boyfriend wherever he decides to go. You rarely have any input. Wherever you go on vacation, you will blow off anyone who warns you not to go wherever you're going.
If you do feel uneasy after being warned, your stud will talk down to you and coerce you into going with him. This won't prevent you from using the following phrases.
I don't like this.
Did you hear something?
What was that? Are you sure this is a good idea?
Don't leave me here alone.
I'm not imagining things.
Maybe we should get out of here.
Always wait until it's much too late to go anywhere before you say this.
Now it's time for Men in Horror.
Men in horror can play more than one role. Some are heroes. Some are victims.
Some are comic relief. Some figure out how to fight the evil using literature, music, fire, water, power tools, metal, etc.
Some are geeks, and all men have a lot more to do in horror than most women.
Let's talk relationships. For the most part, men of horror who are in relationships will treat their partners like accessories. Remember, guys, your girlfriend doesn't even have half a brain in her head, which you will discover when she comes back from the dead, and you have to fight her.
You're so used to her talking inanities that you won't listen when she says something important.
When she does say something important, you blow her off with such intelligent statements as,
Come on, honey, you're just imagining things.
It was just the wind.
It's too late to leave now. We'll leave just as soon as it's daylight.
All right, if you insist, I'll go take a look.
Wait here. I'll be right back. Wait here. I'll be right back. Wait here. I'll be right back.
Don't worry, I'll protect you.
No need to call the police.
The woman in your life can usually be counted on to get hysterical in times of crisis. Sometimes you deal with this by slapping her. Sometimes you shout at her.
Then you're expected to hold her while she cries.
You're rarely concerned about the fact that her screaming may alert whatever's after you to your whereabouts.
You often die before she does, usually as a result of checking out the spooky place so that she'll shut up about it. Then you often have the opportunity to pay her a little visit after your death.
In the rare event that she dies first, you'll find another girlfriend within the next 10 minutes.
But that's okay. She'll find herself another boyfriend right after you bite the dust. That's one of the reasons why you're so perfect for each other.
Hey guys, cars, unlike the woman in your life, you know all about cars. Regardless of your profession, if you don't know enough about cars, you'll always have a friend who does. And he will always fix your car free of charge.
On some occasions, he won't find anything wrong with your car when it's been acting up, but you'll keep driving it anyway.
In some situations, you'll be chased by a dark force in some sort of solid form. This form, whatever it is, will follow you after you've started up the car and peeled out.
You are fairly accomplished at driving your car with this thing clinging to the roof, hood, or windshield. You swerve a lot, but you don't hit anything that'll destroy this unwanted hood ornament that has taken up residence on your vehicle.
You're such a good driver that even with this thing on your car, you won't hit any people or animals. When you finally succeed in throwing the thing off, rather than driving away, you will get out of the car and approach it to see if it's really dead.
This will give your girlfriend the opportunity to find a new boyfriend when pieces of you are found all over the neighborhood.
Now let's talk about various types of evil. These are things you can expect in a horror movie. If you're lucky, you'll only experience one.
If you're in the sequel, you can expect even more.
Please understand that the following list is not comprehensive.
Psychopaths. They look just like everyone else, except they're brilliant and love to leave little murderous clues for the police. They elude the authorities with the utmost ease and, if caught, escape with a dramatic flair that usually involves someone crashing through a high window.
Wild car chases are also mandatory.
When a psychopath is after you, even if he is one of the non-brilliant kind, he will still be smarter than you are. He could have an IQ around room temperature, and you still won't be able to outwit him.
Face it, you're a born victim. He'll get into your house, your car, your place of work, everywhere you happen to be. You might as well be surrounded by the living dead.
The living dead. No, not zombies. Zombies are victims of a voodoo curse. The living dead are, well, the living dead. They are reanimated corpses. They like to eat those who haven't yet died. But why do you care? You'll be lunch soon enough.
When the dead start to come back to life, you won't notice anything wrong until one of them goes after you. You'll have to hole up in the most accessible area anywhere.
Even if you're in the most sparsely populated place on the planet, you will soon be surrounded by enough of them to populate a New York borough.
You will have more than enough ammunition and a good supply of liquid fuel to torch a few of the living dead. You're still alive. They are not.
Somehow, though, you have a hell of a time outsmarting them. You're faster. You can use fire. You can scream for help. But you still find yourself trapped by these meat on legs. Oh, that's wrong. You are the meat on legs.
Ghouls! Yeah, those. You can't see them. You can't kill them. But they can give you one hell of a bad time because you have a real knack for doing the wrong thing around the burial grounds and with the personal possessions that they had in life or just by existing.
Ghosts aren't always bad. Sometimes a good one will show up to save your butt in the nick of time. More often, though, the ghosts are malevolent little jerks, some pretending to be nice so that they can trick you, others just plain mean from the word go.
Why are you even listening to this anyway? If you're the typical horror film character, you can barely tie your shoes effectively.
If you're watching this and making sense of it all, you figured out how to click the play button in the center of the screen window, which is a good start. If someone did this for you, forget it. Let natural selection take its course.
Now, let's talk werewolves. They're just like you and me, except they change into animals at the full of the moon and slaughter everyone in their way.
If you're not a werewolf, and most of us aren't, always be sure to disregard the warnings of the townfolk in the mysterious area you've never visited before.
If you're bitten but not torn to shreds, then of course you'll become a werewolf yourself.
Stay away from any sources of information that could help you with the curse. Just turn into a wolf and kill anyone in your way. Then you can feel guilty and pity yourself later. Repeat at the next full moon.
Vampires make great bad guys. They stay up all night, wear skin-tight leather clothing, and are devastatingly attractive. They are also associated with motorcycles, loud music, and interesting piercings.
This is part of the problem of your modern vampire no longer being a monster, but the epitome of cool. You tend to want to join their world, not fight against it.
Historically, the female vampires are obedient to the fashion of wearing all white, even with its magnetic influence on blood. They tend to go after their boyfriends, husbands, when they aren't seducing strangers back at the castle.
You don't believe in vampires, which makes things very easy for them to get you. There are only a few things that will happen to you now. Either you will become a vampire yourself and go after your loved ones,
or you will be attacked and experience a last-minute rescue, during which your friends will stake the king vampire and free you from the curse.
If you do believe in vampires or grow to believe in them, it'll still be too late for those around you. Someone's going to be attacked, die, and come back.
You will have to get out the stake and hammer when this happens. No, come to think of it, you will have to have someone make a stake and scrounge around for a hammer.
When you finally find the vampire's lair, you have to remember to waste as much daylight as possible getting to it. It will be in the heaviest possible coffin, causing immense muscle strain when you finally pry off the cover, revealing that tasteful silk interior.
The vampire will have fresh blood on its mouth, even if it's been hours since its last meal. For some reason, this will not surprise you. You'll be carrying around a stake approximately the size and weight of a railroad tie, and you will pound this thing through the vampire as the sun goes down rapidly.
Once you do this, and you always get to the heart on the first try, despite having to go through the ribs to do it, the vampire will disintegrate. Success! Now you can go back and bury the person who came with you and died before you got to the vampire.
You also have to remove the innocent victim who almost became a vampire, but was saved due to your prompt action.
The sun has now come up again, night having lasted all of 5 minutes. Not only have you become a fearless vampire killer, but you have gained control over the rotation of the earth. Congratulations!
Right.
Wait for the sequel.
Face it, you're a born victim. He'll get you in the house, your car, your place of work, everywhere you happen to be. You might as well be surrounded by the living dead.